So I just finished the first episode of Shadow and Bone, and I wasn't intending on making any kind of video or reaction, but I have so many thoughts, so I was like, maybe I should just film something, and here we go. Essentially, also, I thought it was gonna be one episode per week, so like I stayed up till midnight to like watch the first episode premiere, but like when I got to the end of it, it was like, do you want to play next episode? And I was like, what do you mean do I want to play the next episode? Like, there is no next episode. Turns out they dropped the whole first season. How do you expect me to go to bed now? How? Do you know that I have to work tomorrow, Netflix? Why? Oh, but it's so good. I was low-key terrified that it was going to be kind of like the Shadowhunters series, which was like, it was like, you know what I'm really tired, can you tell? It was like not the best, if you know what I mean. But this is so good. Like, they've clearly like put the effort in to like make the dialogue good and find really good actors, and it's like dark and gritty, and I'm obsessed. My main thought is that I wasn't sure initially because I don't really like scandal. I don't really like Shadow and Bone. That's not true. I love the world of Shadow and Bone, so I love Six of Crows also, but like Alina and Mal I find in the books like so bland, but in this show like they made them really great and I love them both. So I'm like, this is amazing because it's the plot that I love and the world that I love and now all the characters that I love. They've obviously changed a lot. Like, if you've read them, this is gonna include spoilers obviously. Six of Crows takes place after the first book, or after the Grisha trilogy, so to make the storylines coincide in the show, they like changed a lot of Six of Crows. So all of the characters are the same, but like they have a whole new story arc which is connected to Alina's, which I think is awesome. Like, I'm not really one of those people that's like, it has to be identical to the book or else die. Personally, I feel more like you have to make changes to the plot for adaptation, so as long as it's true to like the heart of the story, I don't mind, so I'm living for it already. Also, one thing I want to comment on is just the soundtrack. Like, holy shit. They didn't opt for like a pop soundtrack like a lot of book adaptation Netflix shows. Instead, they went for like original score, and like, oh my gosh, it sets the mood. Like, it was so expertly done. I had chills all over my body like so many times throughout just from the music alone, like setting the scene or like building the tension. It was unreal. I'm obsessed. And then also, I'm like fangirling really hard right now. The character introductions, like every single character, particularly in like the Six of Crows storyline, like the intro was so good for showing who their character is in like the first second. Like, you didn't have to watch it to kind of get into it and figure out who was who. Like, you had one, like a couple of seconds of each character and it was like, oh damn. Like, when you see Jesper for the first time and he's at the gambling table and then like has a cocky line and like shoots his gun into like fake coins, and then you have Kaz, all you see first is like the cane sticking out and like some really intense ominous music, and you're like, what the fuck, who is this? And then with Inej, you just have like Kaz looking over his shoulder and the window's open, and then suddenly she's like there in the background. Just like these tiny little details that only take like a couple seconds of screen time but like give you a full sense of their character immediately. Another thing I really liked is they made Alina Shu, or like half Shu, which maybe I just didn't read the books carefully enough, but I don't remember that being in the book. But it added this whole racial element about how she's like ostracized a lot in Ravka and people are racist towards her, which I thought was like very aptly timed in light of like all the anti-Asian sentiment due to the pandemic. So it was like kind of a fun change to like make this fantasy story feel very relevant. And also another thing that maybe I just didn't read the books carefully enough, I was kind of picturing like 1700s vibes, but this feels like very like at least 1800s, but feels to me more like kind of World War I era, which is really interesting because that's definitely not how I like pictured it from the books, but I like it a lot. Like, it actually kind of makes the setting feel more real to me, so clearly I just didn't read the books closely enough, but it's kind of fun because it's like making the books come more alive to me again. And kind of along those lines, like, holy shit, Leigh Bardugo's writing and descriptions must be like so on point, because like the descriptions in the book, like the way that I pictured things is like exactly how it looks on here, other than like the timing, the time era, whatever, like I just said. But in terms of like the Volcra, like the way that they're animated is exactly how I pictured it, and the skiffs are exactly how I pictured it. It's just like the Crow Club, like all of the little details of like, yeah, it's just like exactly. And also, oh my gosh, the casting, like Inej looks exactly like how I pictured her, and Jesper looks how I pictured him. Kaz, I didn't like really put a face on Kaz, but like he's really good pick for, in my opinion. And like Mal, who I found like bland and boring and gross, like he's cute. Like I'm a lesbian, but like he's cute. And Alina is just gorgeous, and like, man, I felt her pain and emotion in the scene when they get attacked, like right before she explodes with her sun magic, like when they're in the fold. Oh my gosh, like that scene was so well done. Again, I had like chills everywhere. The music was so intense. Like I didn't even know half the people that were dying, but just like the way that it was shot and executed, I was like, everybody's being murdered, and like you could see it on her face, and it was just like, holy shit, it was so good. Like I have not seen like acting and drama so expertly done in a YA franchise in so fucking long. I was like, this is what I'm here for. This is what we've all been waiting for. I did not intend to make this video talk for this long, but here we are. I'm just like, I feel like I had other things to say too, but like, oh my gosh, it was so good. It was so good. Also, the Darkling, like we didn't really see him at all in the first episode, but like just the way that people were kind of like talking about him mysteriously, like, oh, the dark, like, what do they call him? The Dark General, and he has a name in this that I can't remember now. It's well past midnight. I think it's past 1 now, but whatever. Anyways, you like don't really see him ever. It's just like built up to be this thing, and then the one clip you get is like the back of him, and it almost looks like him and Alina made eye contact while she was going into the fold, but like unclear because they were really far apart. But just like the intensity of that moment was just like, all of this is so well done. Like if you can't tell by my freaking out, like it's so freaking well done. I'm so excited. I don't remember if I said this at the beginning, but yeah, I stayed up till midnight to like watch it drop. And like I got my popcorn, I had my wine, and now I've realized all 8 episodes are out. What am I gonna do? I think that I'll probably watch one more and then go to bed, sadly, because I have nowhere I can be an adult. But it's so fucking good. We just ended with Alina having exploded and like Kaz and them like on their way to kidnap her for $1 million. Well, not a dollars, but you know what I mean. Everything is so intense. I'm just like, my one comment, which was like not even really a negative thing, but they had to get the help of a heartrender to find out some information in Ketterdam, and like I don't understand why they didn't pick Nina. She was just not introduced. I know she's in the show because I've seen the promo, but they just had some like other random Grisha in Ketterdam to do the job, which maybe they're saving it up for some other kind of revelation introduction later, but I was like, where is my Nina? I was waiting for Nina! It was so good though. Oh my gosh. Also, Pekka Rollins is in it. Like, not that I like him, but like, living for all of the characters being relevant. I also really liked the way Alina and Mal's backstory was kind of woven in with these short little flashbacks just to like build how deep their bond is in a very short amount of time. I thought that that was really well done also. Also loving the small details like Kaz's gloves and mention of Inej and her belief in a higher power, how she's like kind of the only nice one, like when the prisoner needs water and she's like just gives the like guy a glare, where the prisoner's like, I need water, and the other guy's like the guy keeping him captive is like not doing anything, and Inej is just like, and gets him some water, and I'm like, you are my queen. Oh, I just love it. I love it so much. It's just so good because the characters in Six of Crows are like amazing. So it's like wonderful to see them on screen being amazing and like all the small details that we love being brought to life. But also the fact that, like I said, Alina and Mal are kind of garbage and they're being made into characters that I can also treasure. I'm so sorry. If you like them, it's so fine. I just like find them super bland and like did not ship them at all. But it's nice to see them in here having some chemistry. Like they had way more chemistry in the first like 10 minutes of this TV show than they had in 3 fucking books. I'm very pleased about that fact. I feel like a big part of how they corrected Mal and Alina, just in like the first episode, other than just like generally more personality, is that Alina is a more active protagonist. Like when we see her burn the maps so that they actually have a reason to send her in the fold with Mal. Like, she's the one that's propelling the story forward versus, like, in the books, she just kind of, like, lumps around like a wet noodle until somebody, like, decides what to do with her. And then also with Mal, like, he's a lot less douchey. Like, when Zoya's like, hey, let's bang, he's like, yeah, no, which is, like, not to say if you have, like, a one-night stand, you're douchey. I don't mean that. But I just feel like in the books, he had, like, a vibe that was very, like, I'm really hot and everyone likes me and I'm adored. And then we were supposed to, like, somehow believe later that he was in love with Alina the whole time. Like, doubtful. I don't know if I'm gonna make this video, like, thoughts on the whole series or just this, like, random rant that I've done about the first episode. I don't know. Maybe I'll just post it tomorrow for kicks. But, like, I just want to fangirl with somebody, okay? I'm obsessed. I'm so obsessed. I'm like, who do I know that I can recommend this to? Obviously, I'm sure all of you are gonna watch it because you're all bookish people. But, like, in my everyday life, I'm like, who can I make watch this show? Because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, you're into that, like, teen garbage, right? Which, like, yes, love me some teen garbage, but I'm like, this is, like, teen gold. It's not teen trash, so watch it. Okay, I am, like, low-key exhausted and a bit tipsy, so I'm gonna watch the next episode, and I will see you all next time, or for my music video coming out next week. Let me know your thoughts. We can fangirl together. P.S. update halfway through the second episode. Jesper is so cute. I love him so much. Oh my gosh, BB.